Welcome to A Little More with Lynn, where we get to learn a little bit more about the donors and volunteers that support the McLaren Greater Lansing Foundation. March is Women's History Month, so I am very pleased today to have with us our board chair-elect, Sarah Jennings. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
So you have been part of the foundation team, so to speak, for quite some time, but you're coming up next year to take over as chair of the foundation board. I was wondering if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I am a partner with Maynard Casterison. We are a CPA firm and business advisory group, right? Focused out of the Lansing area, but really servicing clients all over the state and beyond. I am in the outsourced accounting department. So what I focus on is really helping leadership teams to fulfill their mission and do everything that they want to do as an organization, both for-profit companies as well as nonprofits.
And how about your role with the foundation and what you've been doing with us and how you've been involved with us?
Yeah, I was really excited. So I started with the foundation when the new project, or the new hospital project rather, was kind of a whisper around town. We thought something was going to happen. And so I can't say that wasn't part of my decision to why I joined. That was certainly exciting to be able to be just a small piece of such an impactful thing in the community. And I'm really, so I came in as a standard general board member, and then I moved into the treasurer's role. Clearly that is part of my passion on the financial side of things. And I am excited to be more part of the leadership and the chair position in the coming years. It's been amazing to see what the foundation has gone through. Clearly the new hospital is a huge project to be a part of, but it's really exciting to see all the enthusiasm that just surrounds it and how we can continue that into the future.
Yes, and as the day of this recording, we're finishing up our first week open at the new hospital, and I was just sharing with Sarah that things went remarkably smooth considering the huge task that we had in front of us. But we're so excited to be in our new home, and the patients just seem so comfortable and happy, and the staff are feeling a renewed sense of energy in that great new space. So it was a lot of fun to do, and I'm glad that you got to be a part of that.
Yeah, the foundation team has been amazing with that as well. And it's really a unique opportunity, I think, for all of the stakeholders of the foundation to be able to be part of it, because we're not just a separate foundation board. We're there to really help the patients feel comfortable and do that extra, whatever that extra might be, or whatever that extra might be able to be in the future, to make sure our community as a whole has great care.
Yep, wonderful. Well, as I mentioned in the beginning, March is Women's History Month, and I would love to hear some of your thoughts as a woman in a leadership position, both on the foundation board, but also in your career, in your profession.
So I've been really blessed to be around amazing leaders throughout my career, both internally as well as within the community. Greater Lansing is like many others, but there are a lot of women in the community that can be amazing mentors, leaders that we have to look up to. I think I'm not alone in saying that the accounting industry historically is male dominated. And it's interesting to me how many times when I speak with young leaders or young women in their career, how many people say that. It doesn't matter the industry. For the most part, healthcare is kind of one of the exceptions until you get into the administration side. But there's a lot of industries that were male dominated. So it's really exciting to be part of the continued cycle to change that type of leadership and really strive toward diverse leadership teams across the board. Like I said, I've had a lot of amazing leaders, and I've kind of done things both internally as well as the community. So you can see how different organizations, different types of organizations really blend those leadership teams.
Yep. Wonderful. Yeah, you're right. I mean, we are lucky in healthcare that it's a pretty diverse field of both men and women, and that's been great. But I think looking at our own, local hospital, McLaren Greater Lansing, we actually have a large contingent of our executive leadership are women as well. So that's a lot of fun. So we talked a little bit about women in leadership in general, but do you have any thoughts about kind of women in healthcare? Medicine, that world?
Thoughts about it. So I think that in any industry, women have to be at the table, right? So we have to not just sit back and say we don't see people like us at the table. Like you mentioned, McLaren Greater Lansing has a great diverse leadership team, so that's just not an issue there. But I do think that women historically have been in healthcare. This is a general statement that I hesitate saying out loud, but just the compassion side. I mean, if you look back historically, I think from the nursing perspective and how many hospitals were started, how many facilities were started, women were the caregivers. So the women would kind of start that compassionate care that I think McLaren Greater Lansing is known for. I think we were talking just earlier, it was Margaret McLaren that founded McLaren Hospital. So to be founded by a woman is an amazing thing that we should definitely shout off the rooftop during Women's History Month.
Absolutely. Do you have any specific pieces of advice for women who may be aspiring to get into a leadership role?
There's two big things that I often tell young leaders. The first is to be yourself. It's really easy. I mentioned earlier, if you're in industries that you don't feel is, or that you feel is kind of male dominated, or you don't see yourself at the table, or you don't see yourself at the next level, it's really easy to get in a rut and feel like you have to change to fit into that table or fit into that next position. And the first thing I would say is don't do that. Be yourself, be authentic. If you don't, you're not going to enjoy yourself and you're not going to want to continue to thrive in that role. I think the other thing that we've learned just as a society, how important it is to have different voices at the table. So there's value in not being like everybody else at the table, whether it's a gender diversity or a social diversity, a cultural diversity that we're looking for. I think it's really important to just, again, be authentic, be yourself. The other thing I think that is really important is to bring others up. So for years, we hear about breaking the glass ceiling. And while absolutely the generations before us, they broke that ceiling. And it's amazing to be in a position to continue to go up. But I do think it's easy to be so passionate about going up, you forget to continue to bring people with you. So I think the second thing I would say is once you get there, continue to bring people along, bring people with you. Lean in is something that a lot of people say, amplify what others are saying. It's really important to continue to bring up those leaders because the more diversity that we have all around us, the better conversations, the better solutions we can provide for any industry that we're trying to serve.
Yeah. Oh, I totally wholeheartedly agree. And I've been the recipient of some of that mentorship. And just even beyond mentorship, just having people kind of instill a confidence in me that maybe at the time I didn't feel that you can do this, I'm here for you. And you're right, it's so important for us to continue that cycle. Mm-hmm. So speaking of women leaders, this is my smooth segue. We have started a new giving club at McLaren Greater Lansing Foundation called our Women's Giving Circle, of which you are a founding member. Could you talk a little bit about the Women's Giving Circle?
Yeah, it's really, really exciting to be part of something bigger than yourself. For years, you give money, you give a donation, and it's just such a small piece. Sometimes it's hard to feel what impact you're really having. But when you can be part of a bigger circle of like-minded people, that you can see the impact because we're all coming together for the greater good. I'm excited to be there when we get to vote on the grant or how the funds are used. That will be so fun. I mean, we're going to meet quarterly, I think it is.
Quarterly.
Right?
Yeah.
Quarterly, and have great networking opportunities to be able to learn from one another. And I think the Women's Giving Circle has a unique and diverse group in itself. We're coming from all different industries to give back to the same thing. And then to be able to look at proposals that are out there and what the needs are from McLaren Greater Lansing and the greater community, it'll be really amazing at the end of the year to be able to see what we can do.
Yeah, we had our kickoff meeting, and then last month we had our first official Women's Giving Circle meeting, and I left feeling just so excited about the future of the hospital and the women that were supporting it. There were so many great ideas, so much passion. And it was a ton of fun. So
inspiring.
I hope people will join us because like you said, we meet quarterly, and I believe the next meeting we're going to have a real comprehensive panel of people talking about women's health. So it'll be informative as well as inspiring. Well, in your new position as chair-elect of the foundation board, what would you like people to know about the work of the foundation?
The foundation clearly has been doing so much work with the capital campaign and the new hospital. And I think that clearly we want the staff, everyone to get credit for all of the hard work. I'm really excited for what's next. I'm excited for all of the momentum that's been built in the community with McLaren in the community, and how to be able to have a greater impact than we already have. And we've had a great impact just on community health. And how can McLaren be more than just the hospital, continue to be more than just the hospital? Because, healthcare, as you know, Lynn and you and I have talked, but healthcare is integral to every single person in our community. Everybody uses it. Everybody needs it. Everybody doesn't have access to it. So how can we help just make the society, the community, a better place?
Yeah, I agree. I'm very excited for the what's next. We started asking ourselves as a board and a staff, what makes a community healthy? And that can be access to healthcare, but it can also be access to healthy foods, access to education, transportation. So healthcare can really go outside the walls of the hospital. And I think that we're going to have a great time making impact on the community. So
one of the things that I do within Mainer's walls is community engagement and working to partner with different nonprofits and all the communities that our clients are. And there are so many amazing groups right now in the Lansing area that we can collaborate with and work with to make sure that everybody is moving forward, instead of, trying to take a piece. We're not trying to take a piece of anything. We're trying to work together with everybody so the whole community can move forward. It's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Well, we have to end by one of us, and I'll ask you to make sure to let people know how they can support the work of the McLaren Greater Lansing Foundation.
Yes. So get engaged. We have amazing events that are listed on the website. I know there's some booklets out there, social media. We always have events. And aside from being a great cause to support, they're a lot of fun. The golf outing is amazing to be able to be out in the sunshine, knock on wood. We've got some things in August all the way through next year. The calendar's out there. So that's the first thing I would say. We're always posting great stories about community, about patient impact on social media. Look at those stories. They're touching, they're impactful. So get engaged, and then of course, donate. We always are looking for things, and the work that the foundation does isn't just bricks and mortar. It really truly is reaching out into the community and making sure that the patients at McLaren Greater Lansing have just that experience that is even over and above what they would need. We want them to feel at home when, they're obviously at the hospital for a reason, but we want to make them as comfortable as possible.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Sarah, for speaking with us today, for celebrating Women's History Month with me. And I am certainly looking forward to your leadership on our board and our continued partnership.
Thank you so much. The sun's shining in the window as we speak, so that's a good sign.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching A Little More with Lynn, as we get to know a little bit more about the McLaren Greater Lansing Foundation, its donors and volunteers. Thank you.